once again, I thank Dr. Alok sir for participation. I regret because I could not able to participate physically, but I'm taking the opportunity to share my thoughts through online. My sincere thanks to Dr. Alok Kumar and also the authority of IIT Gandhinagar. So with this, I will start my presentation. The indigenous knowledge system for selection and laying out of the urban cities in pre-colonial period in Karnataka. My specialization is medieval. Especially, I would like to mention that how we had a indigenous the knowledge system for a selection.
Make your screen full screen.
Yeah, it's full screen. It's full screen. Is it coming? Hello.
Sir, you need to select the second screen, your another screen. You just selected your yeah.
Okay.
Just do a slideshow and share your another. If you are using an extended display, just put that extended display on the share, Zoom share. It might be using an extended display.
Now, sir, now?
No. It's in the slideshow, but so
I can see your screen.
Display?
I can see your screen, Mr. Aruni, but then yeah, it's not on slide mode. But
now, sir, can you see the full screen? Hello, can you see the full screen?
Continue, sir. Continue.
Okay, thank you. Again, once again, I thank Dr. Alok Kumar. As I said, my specialization is medieval archaeology, particularly Deccan or southern India, more particularly Karnataka. I would like to present here that the theme, which is I feel it a problem, and what are the studies there. Modern Karnataka represent urban form of state with a large number of towns. Many of them are aware of that: Bangalore, Mysore, Hubli, Belgaum, Bellary, Gulbarga, Bidar, Bijapur, Mangalore, Karwar, and other many cities we have in we could see in Karnataka, in the contemporary Karnataka. Many of them were historical towns or capital cities of various political chieftains in the past due to their strategic locations and ancient trade routes. These towns continued as an important towns throughout the history. We could see, many cities, they continue to be from the ancient to the modern contemporary period because of the locations, and also the locations on the trade route help them to continue as important historical cities. However, very less work has been done on to understand the process of urbanity in Karnataka from the ancient period. Constant changes in political powers in this region and also large trade activities, concept of process of urbanization kept changing, particularly from the 15th century onwards. It's very interesting to know that from in the ancient history, like you get the early urbanization from the post Mauryan period onwards. We have a number of cities which is referred to by inscriptions, and number of coins have been identified, and also large number of exhibitions have been undertaken in the early historic period, like Maski, like many Asanati, many Talakadu, and other places. They yielded the early urban concept, early process in these sites. The constant up to 11th, 12th century, we could see the process of ancient urban urbanity. But from the 13th century onwards, there is a drastic change in the laying of the new cities, and also the selection of the cities that is very clearly we could see in our history, particularly in Karnataka, we could see that. So my lecture will be in the three parts. One is the early urbanization. second one is the early medieval and the medieval period, how the changes have been there up to pre-colonial period. I would like to just mention that one or two important sites. With the arrival of the Europeans and industrialization brought a new concept of urbanity during the colonial period, which I am not going to talk about this because my work is up to pre-colonial period. So the arrival of Europeans and industrialization brought a new concept of urbanity during the colonial period. My presentation will be
Aruni,
aims. Yes, sir.
your slides are not moving.
But it's not moving. Here mine
Are
is
you,
moving.
are you using two screen?
No, only one.
You are using for only one, but then
Yes, sir.
you have to put your PPT to slide so fast. It's not moving.
Okay.
It is not full screen yet, neither it's moving.
Okay. Okay.
You go down, yeah, put it in there, press.
1 second.
Yes, no,
Now I'll restart.
okay. You first start the PPT, then share it.
Yeah. Can you see the PPT now?
Yes, but it's not full screen. So it
Yeah, I'll make it full screen. Now,
no, you have to put slides so no, it's not going to slide.
I press the slideshow.
No, it's not happening. Okay. Oh, when you start speaking now, you click on the slide because it's not going in a full screen. So you can click the slide, so slide will change. Yes. Okay. You start that way only. And
Okay.
okay. Then you have to wind up in another 12 minutes.
Okay. I'll do it. Dr. Alok sir, can you just see the slide now? Continued. Title with the continued. Okay. Hello. Hello.
Aruni, carry on. We can hear you.
Okay. My today's my paper is basically, I depend on the documents which is done by the European colonial European artists and other officers who have actually documented the various sketches, various towns, various maps which is prepared in the colonial period. Starting with the Dutch and Portuguese and the British artists. So that actually helped me to understand the pre-colonial concept of medieval towns. So that is my major source of it. And also that document serves as a valuable source for the understanding of the layout of the extent of the towns and pre-colonial period. That is my important. One such example of just showing that this is a old map which is prepared in mid of the 17th century. It showed that the routes from the Goa and also the route from the Davol to reach the Bijapur. Bijapur was the capital city of Adil Shahis of Sultan. So this idea will help us to, this map will try to help us to understand the routes and also important towns of that trade route. So this kind of documents, and also there are documents which is in the by one of the Dutch artists. He has done a sketch of the Raibag. Raibag is in Belgaum district. He has made a sketch of that. It showed that the city was enclosed with the high walls, fort walls, and you can see the landscape of that area. This will help us to understand the medieval concept of cities. So visual documents will help us. Particularly in another one is that this is another Dutch artist in the 1665. He has made a documents of the Bijapur. He has made a sketch of the Bijapur walls. So these early documents will help us to understand the medieval layout of the cities and their divisions. Various aspects can be traced from this. And similarly, the British from 1800 onwards, British artisans, they have made this landscape sketches, which is actually help us to understand the particularly Karnataka and South India, the rural as well as the towns, how they were laid, how they are that landscape could be seen in the pre-colonial period can be traced with these. These are the very good document for us to understand the. And another one is Colonel Mackenzie's contribution to the making a map, survey maps. These are the valuable sources for the extent of the cities, extent of the towns, the pre-colonial period. These are the important source for my research work there. So I'll skip what is the Karnataka and other things because all of us. So this is how the landscape of the Karnataka. You hills and valleys. There are many valleys and hills are there. How they this kind of landscape was used for making a laying of the new ports, new fortified cities. So that try to understand in the medieval from the ancient period. Begin with my lecture, the early urban centers in Karnataka. Although many scholars have worked on the early urban centers, particularly try to understand the Ashokan inscriptions. Till today, many scholars have identified Ashokan's inscriptions, but we are failed to understand the cities of the Ashokan period or cities of the Mauryan period in Karnataka, because we have not received. We are not got any evidence, archaeological evidence to or architectural evidence to show that urban cities how they were extended in the Mauryan period. But recent excavations at Sannati as well as the recent work at Banavasi have brought some idea how the early urbanization in Karnataka. My one article has published recently in recent publications. In that, I have argued that the early the cities like Sannati and Banavasi are the best examples of the Karnataka. The cities, actually, the Buddhist concept of early urbanization can be seen in Karnataka with that. Sannati is the best example. You could see the Sannati, the main town with the fortified town in the center, and surrounded by stupas. This is a parikrama kind of a concept of the Buddhist. They could see if the Buddhist stupas all around are surrounded to the cities. This Kanaganalli and Anigutti in very important Buddhist stupas are found in Sannati. So similarly, another one is in Karnataka, the Banavasi has also healed recently. One scholar has worked on the Banavasi urban site center. She also mentioned that the Banavasi is also surrounded by a number of stupas. They are on the periphery in a kind of a ring. So it shows that similarity between Sannati and Banavasi show that the early Buddhist concept of in this aspect. So moving to the medieval society, can you hear me, sir? I'll just move to this medieval society. The medieval society in Karnataka initially began with the 13th century after the Yadavas and Kalyani Chalukyas. So this reason went into the hands of the Delhi Sultanates, and they brought a new concept of defense architecture, particularly the Taglakabad and other things. But here in Karnataka also we have the parallel. Vijayanagara was also came to the power. So that you could see, I'll skip one or two because I have very less. So the first thing is how this medieval period, the beginning of the medieval period, the urban concept is the fortified cities or fortified towns. That is the essential part of the medieval society there. The most of the capital towns or even minor dynasties, they develop the urban centers with the fortified towns. So some of them they are in the form of mandala system or Shastric model. Some of them they are in the concept of the Persian concept. So both the indigenous as well as the Persian concept of Persian traditions of the towns were developed in this region in Karnataka. One example is the Kakatiya's capital city Warangal in Telangana state is the best example of the indigenous town planning. It's a circular form of cities, two circulars. One is meant for the royal enclosures, and surrounding peripheral is the for the civilians. So this is called inner fort and citadel, and outer fort. We could see the two fort rings are there. The first ring is settlement area. Second inner circle is meant for the royal. So this is and it is approached by the four cardinal gateways. So the best examples, found in the Kakatiya and contemporary, nearby areas, we could see that circular form of cities were very popular in the Delhi Sultanates. In particular in Karnataka, there are many cities with the circular plans are there, which is the best example. You could see that circular forms were preferable in early historical period. Later on, based on the geographical features, towns and urban centers began to compose towns. That is the citadel and settlement area, we call it. So this one example is the how the cities are confined within the fort walls. So the forts are the major new character in the medieval period, which is very important in the because of various reasons. And the militarization of the society was very, and we could see in the post Yadava period. That's why number of forts were constructing, and each city or each towns were fortified with the high walls. So that was the basic concept of the cities we could see. The battles also changed from the old tradition to the new traditions. Earlier, they used to face the battle used to be there with the enemies face to face. But later on, due to the introduction of the gun and gunpowder and cannons, use of cannons, so the change in the pattern of the construction of the forts starting changing. So there, the Pirangis or cannons were used in the particularly in the forts. So that concept completely changed, and they started in the beginning with the medieval period. The town started not on the bank of the rivers, so they started developing in the hilly remote area. In the hilly region, the hills and hilly terrain was suitable for the making a cities. The lower part, what you call fort hills preferable for the settlements. The upper part on the hills is preferred for the royal or palace area. So more security will be given to the administrators or royals, and the lower part is meant for the service or civilian area. So this is the concept which was developed in the early beginning with the medieval period. So this is the one example. The hills, there will be two hills, and the fort hills will be surrounded with the settlements. So each settlement used to have, if the indigenous royals are there, the temples are usually found in the fort area. Sometimes, if it is not indigenous, if it is Islamic rulers, they used to have the mosques or dargahs, or sometimes we have various buildings there. So this is how we could see in the hilly area. So each fort has a different architectural elements, particularly bastions, the gateways, and wall walk. So to control the fort area within the fort area. So the army or the militarization of the society was over in the medieval period. So try to understand. I'll just skip some of this one. So I'll come to the main concept of the Vijayanagara period, the Hampi. It was the Vijayanagara rulers established the new capital called Vijayanagara, or Hampi now we call it. It was the largest medieval city. It was known as the largest medieval city, and it was laid on the hilly terrain and the bank of rivers. So it's naturally protected by the hills as well as the one side, the Tungabhadra river. City was divided into three components. We call it urban core area, sacred area, and agricultural fields. So these three components we could see in Vijayanagara. Very characteristics are, one side is the river, and there is on the banks of river, entire landscape is used for the sacred temples, very large temples, like, in each Krishna temple, Vittala temple, Virupaksha temple, Achyuta temple. Many temples are on the banks, on the banks, which is called sacred area, and in between the urban core area. This is on the southern side of that. So that is meant for the royal, this main major activity area. So within the urban core, again, royal enclosures are there. The number of palaces are there, and in between there is called agricultural fields. So this is dividing the sacred as well as the urban core area. So this is the laying of the early Vijayanagara capital city of Hampi. So the traditional Vijayanagara continued to the traditional way of architecture, the very simple fort, and because of naturally protected, so they did not much bothered about the making a very strategic. That's why maybe there is one reason Vijayanagara could fail to sustain in the militarization of the Deccan Sultanates. Otherwise, they would have. So the main feature of the city is temples. So each temple has the big street. It's called a Bajar Street. So each Bajar Street has the mantapas for the trade activities, commercial activities. These are the palaces, and these are exhibited by the SI. So number of palaces are identified, and various activities, the stores, water sources, water storages, other things we could see in this Vijayanagara, capital city. So these are the palaces area. Now the second part is the Persian traditions in medieval. Karnataka is the one place where we can get the indigenous as well as the Persian elements in the making of the medieval city, urban culture. So from 14th century onwards, we can see that in a Persian or Central Asian traditions in the laying of the new plans of the capital towns. Royal traditions of Deccan were imitations of Central Asian Persian traditions. Capital towns of Bahmani, Qutub Shahis, Adil Shahis, Nizam Shahis, Wali Shahis were Gulbarga, such as Gulbarga, Firozabad, Bidar, Golconda, Bijapur, Ahmednagar. Many towns could identified with the Persian traditions. Interestingly, these capital towns were planned with the Persian traditions, but indigenous traditions. Very interestingly, although it is a Persian elements, but they mixed with the indigenous ancient traditional elements also in the making of the cities. Just show one or two important cities. That is one example is Gulbarga. Gulbarga was the capital city of like Hampi. It was the capital city of Burmese. It was for us almost 75 years. It was the capital city of early Burmese. It was earlier they had an first capital of Daulatabad, then they shifted to Gulbarga. For 75 years, it became a capital city of Burmese. During this period, interestingly, their selection is also important because it is strategically located in the island of the Bhima and Kagina, as well as it's a kind of a three rivers surrounded, surrounding the area. So that's why it is the selection was done, conducted for the Gulbarga, and this is how we could see this is my recent work on Gulbarga to understand why selection was done on Gulbarga, because it is naturally protected by three rivers, as well as the fertile land is also there, and also interestingly the gold diamond mines were near to the Gulbarga. So that was another reason Gulbarga was selected. So I'll skip what are the. So these are the old documents of Gulbarga by Mackenzie. He visited in 1794 or 97. He has made a documentation of the Gulbarga as a part of the survey. He has identified the fort and villages, towns of that, and also he has made one big very sketch. These are very good example of European documents for understanding of the medieval towns. So these are the drawings of this one, and also using the old drawings, Ferguson's drawings and other things. To understand, I made this recently. This is the plan of the Gulbarga. The Gulbarga fort is it's only meant for the royals, and city, the civilians were not protected by the fort walls. This is the open area. So one side, there are two towns used to be there on either side of the fort. One side is meant for the royal people, like administrators or merchants, other important dignitaries on the very next to the fort. And another one is very near to the Dargah area. It is a civilian, common civilian area where the large extended city could be made in this area. So this is a very peculiar way of understanding of the Gulbarga. And such a important is the Gulbarga, the capital city, also has a satellite town during the early 15th century. So for the first time, you could see the medieval character of satellite towns, and also the open area where the two cities, two towns with the fort. This is the laying of the. This is the second city, and this is the first city we call it, and this is the port area, and this is settlement, satellite town is there. So this concept was the very peculiar or very important of the early Bahmani capital city. This is just an aerial photography of how the Gulbarga fort could be seen in this, and I'll skip some of them. And the next one is this one is the Firozabad. Firozabad is also laid by the constructed by the Bahmanis, Firoz Shah Bahman in 1410. Yes, it is almost like on the bank of river Bhima, and this concept is borrowed from the Persian or Central Asian traditions. So scholars like Jar Michels and recently French scholars have worked on the Firozabad. They have identified many elements which is borrowed from the Persian sources, and it is fully fortified. And on the corner of that, there is a royal cities, the royal palaces are there. So this is a different concept of the medieval. And also another, the second capital of Bahmani is called Bidar. Is the distinct feature of the Bahmani, whereas the Gulbarga has a different traditions, Bidar has a different traditions, two traditions, and also Firozabad. Although they have built by the Bahmanis, but three different traditions could be seen in this, within the Bahmani urban cities. So Bidar is another important where the separate fort was built for the royals, and the big civilian area is enclosed by the walls. So within that, there is a big central gate entrances which connects both the fort as well as the civilian area. So this civilian area has a chowbara and various mosques, various structures, which is in my slide you could see. These are the important gates of the Bidar fort. Madrasa is well known to us. Bahmani period, and such a large city was laid in the in the Deccan. This is the Lal Bagh. It is in the palace area in Bidar. Could see the concept of both Persian as well as indigenous elements could be seen in this. This is the palace Takht Mahal of the Bidar palace area. And next, another one is I will just mention 1 or 2 minutes about the another city. It's a medieval town, capital city, Adil Shahis. So this Adil Shahis, town was a circular form of city. This is the circular form of city was laid. Originally, it was a small town, circular form. It was meant for, and with a small, street with the, settlement. But it was enlarged by the Adil Shahis when they extended the capital, and they made a very largest city in the Deccan. So with the large walls constructing, some 36 kilometers surrounding walls are there. Within the walls, the large number of settlements were constructed, made available. For the one side is I'll show you these are the area that the red marks is showing that this is the commercial part of the city, whereas the second part in the royal gardens area. So each city is divided into various like a gardens, a marketplace, bazaars, civilian area, mosques. So it is a very different kind of very ideal medieval towns, not like Mughals forts, Mughal towns were different from the Deccan Sultanates. So obviously this Bijapur had a circular form of a city, but in the laying, inside the laying is different from the that indigenous structures there. So these are the old photograph of the Bijapur to show the palace area and also some important the fort area, fort and the moat. So these are the just to show how traditions were there. The royal urbanity in the Adil Shahi's capital. Navaraspur was the satellite town, which is just recent mentioned on the Bahmani. So this Adil Shahi's also made a one separate palace area meant for the particularly for the pleasure place. This called Navaraspur with the large number of palaces, Sangeet Mahal, Takht Mahal, many palaces were constructed within that.
Dr. Aruni,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'll conclude, sir. 1 minute, I'll just come. So the next part is the composite towns where began in the post-Vijayanagar period. The composite towns is the Kote and Pete, we call it. Kote means the fort area and Pete is the civilian area. So one example is Chitradurga, second one is the Bangalore. Bangalore is the late medieval town, which is a very important town in the southern India. Although it was founded in the 16th century, you could see that the composite town concept of town composite. The one side is a civilian area, one side is a fort area. Fort area is a fort area. So such forts were existed in the various places like Belgaum, one example. Belgaum, you can see one side is a fort is there and the other side is Pete. So these are the best examples of this is Bagalkot, Pete and as well as the Kote area, the composite concept of the forts. This is the aerial photography of the Mystery Kote near Dharwad. You can see that in a fort surrounded with the fort walls, and next to that there is a separate civilian area. It's called Pete area. So this is the pre-colonial. When it comes to the colonial period, we could see the one example is Manzirabad, built by the French engineers. So there it's a different from form of the townships. So with this, I thank once again Dr. Alok Kumar for for a wonderful workshop in this workshop. Given an opportunity. So thank you all. Thank you very much.